All right. Good afternoon, everybody listening in. So it's 1:30. It's time for the Tech Talk with me, Kazeem. This good afternoon. And today on the show, we're going to be talking Microsoft business applications and their role in digital transformation. And you guessed it, I'm usually not alone on the show. So today I have Leon Tribe with me. Hi, Leon.
Hi, Kazeem. Hi, everyone. Thank you.
So, like we always do on the show, let's begin things with an introduction. Who is Leon Tribe and what do you do for a living?
Hi, my name is Leon Tribe. I live in Sydney, Australia. And for a living, I work as what's called a solution advisor for a company called Datacom. And what that means is for the sales team, I'm helping them craft solutions which work well for customers, and for delivery, I help them architect the best possible solutions and their delivery. In terms of my background, I've been working with CRM systems for about 25 years, originally with a product called Sales Logics, and since it was in beta, the Microsoft CRM product, what's now called Dynamics 365. I'm also a Microsoft MVP for the last 12 years in business applications, which is Dynamics and the Power Platform.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So let's jump right in. You know, when you ask different people about digital transformation, they'll probably give you different answers, right? Because digital transformation means different things to different people. So let's kick off with this on the show. What would be your definition to digital transformation? Let's start with that.
It's an excellent question, and you're right. It's quite hard to define. I guess for me, digital transformation is taking an existing process, like a business process of some kind, and introducing technology to it. So changing that process through means of technology. So historically, we can think of, when I was young, there was no such thing as email, for example, right? So I was born in the mid 70s. Until we only had email really in the early 90s. So before then, most communication was maybe fax or by letter. And of course, email changed all that. That was a massive transformation for the way we communicate around the world. Suddenly, we could send messages instantly and have a response from the opposite side of the planet. And I guess that's, for me, a great example of digital transformation. And obviously, for most businesses, it won't be that. It won't be that big. It won't be something like that. But it's this idea of using technology to help service customers better, to help provide your services in a better or more efficient or a more effective way.
Okay. Also, what are some of the challenges that we're facing today, that's in today's digital workplace, that is the digital transformation needs that we have now? And how can business application help us mitigate some of these challenges?
So technology has been with us for quite a while now, in terms of helping us do our business. And probably one of the great examples of that is something like Excel. So a lot of businesses run their processes, run their operations using Microsoft Excel. The problem with that is, of course, an Excel spreadsheet can be mailed to people, so there can be multiple versions around the office. That could be sent to someone outside of the business, and then you lose data. And so Excel's been a fantastic tool for business, but there's some problems with it. There's a darker side, if you like, to using Excel. And business applications, Microsoft has learned their lessons from these old tools like Microsoft Access and Microsoft Excel. And with business applications, you can do similar things to what you can do with Excel. You can build very quick applications. It doesn't require a lot of coding. You can build things to help you with your processes, but there's a full governance layer there as well. So you get to control, as an administrator, exactly where the data goes if you're building applications using the Power Platform. And I guess that's probably the big solution it brings. It still brings the power of Excel. It still brings the power of these other low-code tools that we've used in our businesses for 10, 20 years. But it provides a layer of of security and assurance to a business which they may not otherwise have.
The reality is, I should say, with most of these business apps is that when they are being rolled out, eventually you find out that it's not exactly solving the problem, or sometimes with time, the problem suddenly changes, right? What are some of these capabilities that you would expect to see in a business application, that can accommodate some of these unexpected changes?
So if I understand the question correctly, I guess one of the strengths of business applications is it's a low-code, no-code platform. And so even if you roll out an application and it's not quite what you need, you don't need someone with deep development skills to change it. If you need to add a field, if you need to rename a field, it's very, very easy to do this. As I say, it's very similar in some ways to Access or Excel. They're very low code tools, something that they're quite powerful. And so with Power Applications, it's the same thing. As your business evolves, it's very easy to evolve the tools. And there's Microsoft on their website has lots of case studies of people within organizations which weren't developers, but have used the Power Platform to build applications for the business they work for. The Heathrow Airport case study that Microsoft have on their website, a security guard at Heathrow Airport in London, England, got the Power Platform and has now developed multiple applications which are used all throughout Heathrow Airport and continue to evolve. He now heads up the business applications Power Platform team there. But it's very easy to change these tools. If you build an application, it's not set in stone, it's not expensive to change. It's a very low code, or in a lot of cases, no code platform, which allows you to make modifications quickly and safely.
There are many business applications from Microsoft, right? So can you help us with a few list of applications that you will class under that umbrella of Microsoft Business Apps?
That's a great question. So Microsoft uses a lot of terminology, and it can be quite confusing what exactly is meant when they say things like business applications and Dynamics and Power Platform. And I guess the way I think about it, so business applications is the collection of a lot of separate tools. So the first tool is the Power Platform. So the Power Platform is like a set of tools to rapidly build applications. And there's 4 components in there. There's Power BI, which is a reporting tool. There's Power Apps, which allows you to create these applications very quickly. There's Power Automate, which allows you to create automated processes between applications, and they can be both Microsoft and non-Microsoft. And then you have what's called Power Virtual Agents. So you have these 4 components with the Power Platform, which allow you to create reports, create applications, create what they call flows, so process automation, and to create virtual agents like chatbots. That's the Power Platform. And Microsoft, using that platform, have created their own applications that plug in. And historically, these were part of what was the CRM suite in some cases, or some ERP suites, some accounting suites in other cases. But it's things like Dynamics 365 Sales, Dynamics 365 Customer Service. So these Dynamics applications are also part of business applications. So it's the Power Platform, the tools that you can build your own applications with, and it's also these products that Microsoft have built to solve specific business needs, these Dynamics 365 Sales, marketing, etc. And together they make business applications, Dynamics and the Power Platform.
Okay, so where would you want to put the likes of the Microsoft 365 or the Office 365 and Azure? Where does it fit in all of this?
So this is the other side of what Microsoft bring to the table, if you like. So we have the business application side where we have this software, and then we've got what's called Microsoft 365, the Office products, the operating system. So the big advantage about going into the cloud, so it's going into having your software being online, is you don't have to maintain it. So you don't have to maintain an Exchange server. You don't have to maintain your own tin, your own servers in a room somewhere. You don't have to upgrade them constantly. Microsoft manage all that for you. And that's probably the big advantage, is by going online, someone else is managing the security, someone else is managing the maintenance, and you're just paying a monthly fee. So rather than these big lumpy payments where you have to pay a large amount of money to buy the server, then you have to pay large amounts of money to upgrade it, etc. You're paying a monthly fee. It's spread out. It's much easier to handle from a finance and budget perspective, and you get all the functionality. The functionality of Office Online is exactly the same as what you would get if you were just loading the software locally on your PC, and it's the same with Exchange and same with all these products now. The online versions are exactly the same and provide a lot of advantage.
So we need to go on a short break, and we'll be back in just a little bit. All right, you're welcome back. So it's still the Tech Talk with me, Kazeem, and I still have Leon with me today on the show. So Leon, my next question for you is, I would like us to touch a little bit on the impact of digital transformation in today's workplace, right? So first, what would you say are the real currency that drives digital transformation? And what are some of those things that every businesses out there needs to take advantage of, and not to be left out in today's digital transformations age?
Certainly, as a starting place, would be to go online, to use the online services of companies such as Microsoft. Not being freeing yourself from maintaining your own hardware is very liberating. As I say, it releases capital funds to spend on things more directly related to what your business does, and allows you to manage the budget better. The secondary advantage that comes from that is Microsoft, certainly in the case of business applications, a lot of their investment, a lot of their innovation is specifically focused to their online platforms. Microsoft, so there is an on-premise version of Microsoft CRM product, but really it's being maintained. That's not where their focus is. That's not where they're spending the money. By going online, you get access to things like the Power Platform. Power Platform is an online platform. You get access to things like Azure's AI services. So by you going online and you get advantage to all these extra services. AI services is something that is going to be part of every business. If not already, then certainly in the next 5 years, it's going to be an integral part of every business. Being able to, for example, receive attachments to emails and have them automatically read and fed into your accounting system. That's something that we can do with AI today. Receiving emails, have them automatically translated. Being on the call to people in a call center, having that recorded, having the sentiment automatically analyzed by AI. So the AI can tell if the person is happy on the call, if they're sad on the call. It can raise flags to a supervisor, so the supervisor can get involved and help with the call. These are all things that are very possible in today's world. Not many businesses are taking advantage of these services yet, but they're going to become more and more important as time goes on. And in the case of the Azure AI services for Power Platform, again, there's no code required. It's very easy to set up something like an image recognition system or stock taking system where you take a photo of a shelf and the AI will automatically count the items and count all the different kinds of items and then feed that into a stock taking system, a warehousing system. That's something that can be set up today very easily with almost no code at all. It's a very exciting world.
Microsoft is obviously not the only player, right, in the digital transformation space, but definitely Microsoft is a big player in the space, especially with tools like Dynamics that you've mentioned just a little while ago. So what do you see sets Microsoft apart from the rest of the players in the digital transformation space?
For me, it's the fact that it's one ecosystem. Microsoft are very focused. There's probably two things which for me at the moment are setting them apart from their competition. One is it's a consolidated ecosystem. So the Power Platform is built on what Microsoft called Dataverse. This is the data layer where you create your tables, you create your fields, etc. Again, no code involved. It's very easy to do. But that's the same platform that Dynamics sits on. So it's one ecosystem. It's an ecosystem which readily plugs into the Azure services. So it's very, you know, with little to no integration. The accounting systems, the ERP systems, so the Dynamics 365 Finance plug into Dataverse as well. So the fact that it's one whole ecosystem to manage the back-end processes of your organization with accounting, with the front end, with the customer-facing processes, to me, that's a big strength, and especially when you pull in the AI services and the data lake services and those kinds of things from Azure, which they're making easier and easier to do. That's probably the first differentiator for me. The second one is Microsoft have got an increasing focus on accessibility. So they're in some ways obsessed with making sure that their software empowers everyone everywhere, regardless of capability, strengths or weaknesses. And to me, that's a real strength. Microsoft are going back into their software. They're working out where it might not. So someone that's might have a sight impairment for some reason. So they can't see as well as someone else. They're making their software so that software can be used as easily by that person with a sight impairment as someone who does not have that impairment. I think this focus on accessibility is also a big differentiator for them. And what's interesting is the innovations that are coming out of that are proving useful to everyone. It's not just that they're creating innovations which work only for people with disabilities or with impairments. Those innovations are working well. I've got the blurred background on Teams. This was actually created by one of the Microsoft folks, who was deaf, so she could sign and have focus more clearly on the person she was signing with. But now a lot of us use this blurred background. It's to me that's their big differentiator. It's again very exciting, the technology coming out of just thinking differently and thinking inclusively.
In trying to wrap up now, what do you see as the future of business applications and digital transformation in general?
Right. No problem. So yeah, as I was saying, certainly going online is obviously the sort of the baseline. That's where the innovation is. That's where a lot of the investment from companies such as Microsoft is happening. Where we're seeing a lot of exciting innovations right now is with that AI space, is bringing artificial intelligence, bringing learning systems to the data that we're collecting as part of our operations and part of what we're doing with business. Where I see the next wave after that is with intelligent agents like virtual agents. So I mentioned the Power Virtual Agent, which is effectively a chatbot. It's now been announced in the recent release of Dynamics that there's now going to be a voice bot. So I'll be able to call a company, and a voice bot will interact with me and talk to me as if I was speaking to a human. And then if they can't answer the questions, they can then hand it over to a human. But I think it's going to be over the next 5 years, more and more organizations will have robots as part of their workforce. And I don't mean physical metallic robots sitting next to you, but just virtual pieces of software which are handling the processes which traditionally would have been handled by a human, similar to how, a long time ago, it was a human that managed phone exchanges and would put the little pegs in the holes in a phone exchange, and that was replaced by a machine. I think that is going to become more and more commonplace in today's businesses.
Okay, thank you very much, Alian, for coming on the show today. But just quickly before we say goodbye now, we have student listening in. I mentioned earlier when we started that where this is a campus radio station. LASU Radio is where we're on right now. So are there any last words from you, that you would like to share with the student listening in?
I'd just like to say, if this is something that interests you, even if you don't do coding, it's very easy to get involved with the Power Platform. There's a community license which you can obtain, which is it's an unlimited license. It doesn't time out. It's not time bound. So you can get a community license with the Power Platform, and you can play with the software, and it costs you nothing. So I'd definitely encourage you, if you're a student, to get involved with this software. Globally, there's a strong demand for people with these skills. So it's something you can learn, and it's something that you can make a good career out of. Certainly, I've done pretty well out of it in my career over the last 25 years. So I'd warmly encourage you to get that community license and just have a play with this software. You've got nothing to lose.
Okay. All right, so here is where we're going to call it a close on today's episode of Tech Talk with me, Kazeem. Thank you so much, Leon, for coming on the show and for sharing your time and your experience with us on today's episode. So remember, you can catch up with the previous episode on YouTube. So it's the Tech Talk Wednesday on YouTube and across the other social media channels. So from myself, and I've also got Chocolate with me here, hosting me on the show today. You want to say hi to my guest, Chocolate?
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Good evening.
Yeah, good afternoon here
in Australia.
I've been able to pick one or two things that you mentioned, and I also commended your responses to the questions as well.
Fantastic.
Okay. All right then. So from myself, from Leon, and from Fumi, it's bye-bye now. Thank you, and let's do this again another time.
Absolutely, anytime. Thank you, Kazeem. Have a good day.